For a long time, the concept of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, has captured the curiosity and stirred debates among both the scientific community and the general public. In particular, those who claim to have had contact with such phenomena, often referred to as contactees, have increasingly moved away from the classic image of metallic, flying saucers and toward experiences that are strange, symbolic, even spiritual. Are their accounts mere reflections of imagination, personal belief, or is there a deeper message that we have yet to truly comprehend? Are UFOs simply physical phenomena, or could they be gateways to concepts beyond our current capacity to perceive? As I approach the age of 40, I find myself looking back to the first time I encountered what they call a UFO or a sphere in this world. I was in my early 20s. That experience profoundly changed me for years to come, reshaping my entire understanding of reality. Luckily for me, these visitors from the other side only responded, they never intruded. To this day, I remember it vividly. That summer night, a friend and I witnessed two orbs dancing in the sky, performing the most bizarre aerial dance, one that defied every known law of this reality. They moved faster than light. Even more intriguing, that very night I experienced telepathic communication for the first time. I was asked whether I had seen enough in this realm, whether I had remembered yet. They invited me, once again, to join them. Back then, I was still young and considered myself a rational person. I had always been fascinated by the idea of life beyond this world, yet my mind still clung to the mainstream narrative of aliens and spaceships. It wasn't until many years later, when I longed to reconnect, that they reappeared in my life. Strangely, in this realm, we are told to fear abduction. But I can honestly say it was an invitation. The moment they sensed fear in me, they left me alone. And so, I continued my life in this world. I know that people today, myself included, are used to short attention spans, so I won't make this any longer than necessary. Years later, I re-established contact with them. We were able to build seamless telepathic communication, but only when I felt open and curious. They were incredibly patient with me, always following my lead and never forcing anything. Fast forward to the present, I am what people would call a contactee, an experiencer of the third kind, or whatever label one might attach to such things. Labels, something I've become increasingly cautious of. In any case, to get straight to the point, here is what I've come to understand through all these encounters and experiences. UFOs, or the orbs, are signals like lighthouses, signaling the presence of something from the other side. Through their extraordinary maneuvers, they seem to want us to understand the limitations of this reality, and more importantly, that there is something beyond it. As if to say, you think everything obeys the rules of your dimension? Watch this. It's as though they are trying to wake us up within the dream. And like any dream, we're meant to notice the contradictions, the glitches, synchronicities, the Mandela effect, déjà vu, historical anomalies, the blatant inversion of truth in this realm, and yes, those orbs dancing in the sky, defying the laws of our physics. One could argue they have no desire to come down and join us. Rather, circle endlessly in my mind. What if they have very little to do with extraterrestrials and are, in fact, related to us? What if this world is merely an illusion, and they're trying to wake us up from the dream? What if the identities and avatars we wear are deceiving us, preventing us from recognizing our true, eternal, nonlinear, and non-local nature? What if what we perceive as abduction is, in truth, an act of free will, a choice to transcend this existence and reunite with them? What if anyone can summon the invitation, and it has nothing to do with being special, chosen, or different, but everything to do with simply being aligned? I keep wondering, and I'll tell you this, after witnessing what I've seen in this realm, should the invitation come again, whether from them or from within myself, I will take my chance next time. Now, after all these years, as I look back on the journey, from a young man first seeing orbs of light to someone who has established telepathic contact with what the world calls aliens, I realize things are far more complex than we were led to believe. To me, this has never truly been about UFOs, about technology, or even about beings from some distant planet. At its core, it's a story about consciousness, about awakening, and about the true nature of reality, something most of humanity is still asleep to, buried under borrowed beliefs and limited definitions. I once thought those visitors came to reveal the secrets of the cosmos. But over time, I came to understand they're not here to tell us anything. They're here to trigger awareness. The orbs don't exist to prove they're real. They exist to make us question what's real. When an object violates every law of physics, it doesn't just amaze you, it forces you to question the very foundation of what you thought was real. And like any dream, only by noticing the inconsistencies do we get the chance to wake up. I no longer call them aliens, because I'm not sure they're truly outside of us. They may be a deeper part of ourselves, reflected from a higher dimension, where identity is no longer a barrier and fear gives way to resonance. Perhaps they're not here to invade, but to remind. And perhaps all of us, sooner or later, will be invited, not through blinding lights or from them or from the quiet whisper of my own soul. I will not turn away, because now I understand. It is not an escape from reality, but a return to it, seen in a different light, a truer, deeper light.